Hello, everyone. When I think of a photographer who has a lot of skill, experience, and passion for aviation photography, René Vink comes to my mind first. And today in the podcast studio, we have him here. And I am very excited to talk to him because he has 28 years of experience in the field, and he is also educated in the same sector in photography, and he holds two diplomas from Netherlands. And the thing which really makes me very excited about his work is because he's always inquisitive and he's curious, not just to learn about photography but also about his subject matter, which is aircraft and aviation. And I'm very excited also to learn about his ongoing uh, documentary project, which is called Plane Crazy, and we'll also talk about that in the podcast. And you can view his work on his web blog and all kinds of social media like Facebook and Instagram at Birdman99. And welcome, Renee.
Yes,
Did I
well,
miss anything?
yeah, I guess that's the gist of it. And yeah, thank you very much for having me. I'm very excited to do actually my very first podcast ever.
Oh,
And
wow.
although I still have the idea in my head to create my own podcast in the future, this kind of also um, sets that idea forward a bit much. Yeah, thanks for having me. It's really cool. We know each other, of course, via the photo walks Twente,
Yeah.
which has been very exciting to me to do photography, something outside of my, well, I wouldn't say comfort zone per se, a little bit, but also because it's something completely different and
Yeah.
it gets my creative eye way more tuned also
Yeah.
into coming back to aviation photography because you shouldn't confuse it with aircraft spotting because that's more of the
Yeah.
traditional hobby thing where people go out and, well, traditionally collect numbers. They want to get
Oh,
all
okay.
of the aircraft complete and such. It's like a collecting stamps kind of thing,
Oh.
um, but then in a different iteration. I don't really care about numbers that much or registrations, so to say. I really would rather have, as a photographer, if I one aircraft 1,000 times really good instead of 1,000 aircraft kind of moderate.
Yeah.
And that's it's handy to have that as a reference to see what kind of exact model that is, because sometimes I type a caption on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook and Instagram and I get beaten down immediately by the comments like, "Oh, you got that wrong." It's actually that model of an aircraft, so I have to edit that out, which I'm grateful for, but it's always very annoying if I don't do my homework that well.
Yeah.
But it's handy just to Google a registration just to see what exact model of aircraft that is, just to have that be correct.
Just hearing that, I'm very overwhelmed because the kind of knowledge base that you have, like, it's not just Googling stuff, but in general, like when we go on our walks and we
Hmm.
talk about, oh, I'm going next weekend, and like take out that name from, like, you just know which
Well,
aircraft that is, and
as the kids say, I have an app for that.
awesome.
You could just you could see like transponders of the aircraft. They send out a radio transmitted transponder code,
Yeah.
and you can see what's flying just over your head or what you've just shot or what's
Mm-hmm.
coming ahead. It's very handy tool
Yeah.
to use to know to not miss a moment.
But when you began, I guess you were a child and there were no apps like that.
No,
So
no, no.
how did
There
you
weren't
even,
even smartphones.
yeah, how
No,
did you even think about it? Like, oh yeah, one day did you ever imagine your life like this, that oh yeah, one day I'm going to be
no.
an aircraft photographer?
It kind of grew out of something I just really enjoyed. I went from primary school into high school into a group of fellow schoolmates who were already from another primary school, so they knew each other, and I was kind of the odd one out. So I
Mm-hmm.
kind of looked for something to do because I didn't really click that well with everybody to do outside of school.
Mhm.
And I just thought of the idea. I said that to my mother, like, yeah, me and a friend of mine are just going on a pretty much a day like today, nice summer weather. I was living in the Hasleres, just
In
just
the
a couple
city.
neighborhoods away from here. Really,
Yeah.
it's not that far off. With my parents, and the air base that used to be over there, which is now converted into a civil airport. Luckily, there's something going on still.
Yeah.
It wasn't that far off, and it's like 15, 20 minutes of cycling till you reach the fence, and you could just see F-16s taxi by
Wow.
really close and kicking the afterburners, which is very exciting thing to
Yeah.
do. And my mother immediately said, "Well, if you're going there, maybe it would be a nice idea also to bring my camera equipment. I'll show you how it works there."
Wow. Your
And
mom.
yeah, and I shot my first pictures, and the first results were like a little out of focus, a little
Mhm.
wonky, this and that.
So do
After
you,
3 days, I could see the results
yeah.
because it was all analog. It was all on film back then. It was
Wow.
1999, hence
That's
the
why.
99 in Burma 99.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I went again, and I tried to
Yeah.
improve myself. It wasn't like a bummer. It was like, I could do better. So I
Yeah.
went again and again and again. And 28 years later, I'm pretty much doing the same thing, but not just here, also European wide, and I hope to expand that even wider, global scale in the future.
You said your mom handed you over a camera equipment.
Hmm.
Like, do you attribute your mother's presence in your life to
It's
your passions,
yeah,
or
the shutterbug in her definitely got
I think
transferred into me.
it's in the genes as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so. I guess I mentioned that to you before we started. Like, my father is way more of a meticulous kind of person, and my mother is way more impulsive. I guess I got a bit of both
Yeah.
because I need to plan out certain trips. I have to go on the road with other people. I try to keep costs down to divert like hotel costs, driving costs,
Mhm.
fuel costs into,
Yeah.
like, if you can divide that up into two or three, then it's way cheaper and you can go more often.
Yeah. The logistics.
Yeah, and that's a lot of planning, and also when I'm shooting um, aircraft or whatever at an air show or at a shoot or whatever, you have to be meticulous about what to do. I'd rather
Mhm.
come way before the first thing can be shot.
At what point did you uh, kind of realize that I'm going to do this for a long time? Like, I'm going to do this maybe forever. Like,
Well, it kind of grew out of something to do as a pastime into I got talking to fellow enthusiasts, fellow aircraft spotters, photographers,
yeah.
um, and I remember once at the Hot Air Balloon Festival, a yearly festival at a recreational area not too far off.
Yeah.
They had a stand from Onze Luchtmacht, which is our Air Force, which is a society for people who are also very enthusiastic about
Oh.
the Air Force mainly.
Mhm.
And they were trying to get more members from being there and to sell some merch off. I looked at my mother because yeah, I only had some allowance, this and that. I couldn't have a job at that age.
You were how old were you?
14 at the time. Like, it was in
Wow.
1999. I was 13. So a
Yeah.
year later, I went there, and they had like a small air show along with the hot air balloons going up. But also, yeah, I went to that stand, and they had like posters that were really,
Oh.
really awesome, like air-to-air photographs. That
Yeah.
also did a little bit like, if only I could reach that. That kind of also sparked something in me
Yeah.
to do something similar. And but I got a member, and also because a week thereafter there was a special Spotters Day organized at the airbase here, at Twente Airbase,
Mhm.
and they had the Romanian MiG-21s, which is like a dinosaur aircraft of the Cold War era from Russia,
Wow.
really. And they also had Phantoms, which is now my favorite aircraft
Oh.
because of that, partly because nearby German airbase Hopsten had runway renovations, and for the time being, they had their operations going on from here,
Mhm.
along with the F-16. So it was really busy.
Oh,
and you
okay.
could stand up close to all of the aircraft really well and
Wow.
mingle with fellow enthusiasts. Yeah, and that kind of really sparked something in me. Well, I
Yeah.
went out and did that, and
Yeah.
then later on they organized bus tours to Florence in the
Mhm.
south of Belgium. Once I went there to an air show, which was very impressionable. You had to get Belgian francs back then to
Oh
pay for
yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No euros.
before the
Yeah.
euros. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I go way back then. I don't feel that old, but once I talk about that, yeah, I kind of feel that old.
Like it's such an like when you're a young teen, it's a very absorbent state of
Yeah,
mind. Like
yeah.
you want to you can get those passions and but the
Wasn't really a
challenging.
conscious choice. Like I
Yeah.
want to do this for the rest of my life. I kind of did eventually, trying
Yeah.
to get an internship at the photography section of the airbase in 2002.
Mhm.
But in 2003, the time for the internship was coming along. They pulled the plug because of defense budget cuts.
Oh, okay.
Because back in that day, the threat of Russia and everything in the world, in this part of the world, was so low that they say, we're going to dial everything down defense wise. And for reasons of the current, at that time, Minister of Defense,
Yeah.
he pulled the plug on this airbase. And the photographer there went with an early pension. And so my chances of that, they they didn't follow through. So I've found something else to do as assistant in a commercial photography studio.
Oh, wow.
Different,
Yeah.
and it was very a good learning curve.
Mhm. But
But
then was this before you joined the colleges
yes,
for
well, it
photography?
was the first education that I did. There was
Okay.
the internship was the last part of it,
Oh,
so you get
okay.
some in real life experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing, actually.
Yeah, and then I had like a 1 year of just making some money and earning some, like doing some odd jobs here and there
Mhm.
before I started to do the photographic in Apeldoorn,
Mhm.
which was a part-time 2 days in a week
Mhm.
education. And at the rest of the days, my parents said like, yeah, we'll bankroll you the money for going there every time by train and stuff and bus,
Mhm.
but you have to pay for the education yourself
Yeah.
because it wasn't subsidized by the government.
Mhm.
So I went out and started a job as a garbage man,
Mhm.
which was very nice to be out on the road every time.
Yeah.
And I kind of lingered in that a little bit, but it was a very good way of also doing my aviation photography on the side. I can make money doing this and also
Yeah.
take time off during whenever I had an opportunity to go out and shoot
Yeah.
that.
Like it kind of like at that point it was more like a hobby for you.
Yeah,
But
but I took
now
it
like
very
you're
serious though.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now when I see you like like the first time when I came to know that you also have a day job, I was a bit shocked because I was thinking, oh, okay,
Hmm.
like how do you manage everything?
Yeah, well, I landed a job that I'm doing now for almost 8 years in a printing facility not too far from home in Enschede.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I'm an official cutter in graphic finishing, and we make labels for the food industry.
Also very technical, it sounds.
Yeah, yeah, but it's also
Precision.
it's also physical. It's a physical job, so you don't really
Yeah.
have to go to the gym per se.
Mm-hmm.
And I cycle a lot, going off there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's at least it's something in the graphics kind of niche world
Yeah.
of doing anything. But yeah, it's good money. It's a stable job. It's a permanent contract for me. So
That's good.
it's just sometimes it's hard to get time off when I want to go somewhere, um, because we're understaffed sometimes. But a lot of times they know what drives me in that sense, and
Yeah.
they try to kind of fix something
Yeah.
and move some stuff around. Maybe you can shift the shift your shift into another part of the day, and
Yeah.
yeah, that happens. And sometimes I can't go, and sometimes I can go. And when I can, then it's
Mm-hmm.
usually always really good and really awesome. Yeah.
what really fuels you in all this?
Yeah. I mean, like,
Sounds like a lot of energy is required to have this kind of lifestyle,
yeah, but that's I'm never I
mental as well as
yeah, but
physical.
I've never been officially diagnosed, but I've self-diagnosed that I must have something on the autistic spectrum, which I
Hmm.
guess the spectrum doesn't really exist anymore as it is. But I know I have something like ADD, which is yeah, you go down rabbit holes super deep,
Hmm.
and if you can get obsessed by certain things, and if you
Hmm.
channel that well, it becomes a superpower.
But
And I
then,
think as a photographer, that works really
do
well.
you find that like do you ever feel that it can be a hurdle when it comes to organizing things or
It's a
planning
blessing and a
things,
curse.
or is it
Yeah,
like I don't know
it
much
can.
about it, so from what I've heard from my friends is that they find it more challenging to organize their thoughts and organize their things, and also in the head, in their heads,
Hmm.
and also in their surroundings. And but I find it fascinating that how organized you are. Like when I see
Yeah,
like
well,
how
as
you,
I said, once I finally self-diagnosed that this is probably how my clock ticks,
yeah.
I had a lot of trouble with trying to convey this onto everybody else around me, because everybody else around me apparently thinks a completely different way.
Hmm. What is
And
that?
or like
How
I
is
think
that?
of certain things where nobody else would even come up with that. And some people actually voice it. Like, how the hell would you even think of that? Like, it's also with my humor, like little witty jokes. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's that humor, and sometimes it goes way cleverer than that. And it's just,
Yeah.
yeah, it just pops in my head. I mean, that's just, I link certain things. I pick up on a lot of stuff I said before. It's useless talent. Yeah, yeah. So I memorize things that are totally useless, but because I don't filter them. Lots
Yeah.
of other people probably just they're not relevant, so I'll just
They would just,
forget about it.
yeah, block
One
it.
way, one ear in and one ear out. I can't do that.
Yeah.
So I pick it up and I park it somewhere,
Oh,
and it
okay.
pops up whenever it's relevant, apparently.
Yeah. But
And
it's
I guess,
useful.
yeah, it was most of the time it's useful,
I
and
mean,
other times
it's
it's
useful. It
yeah.
might be useful for your curious friends like me. I like new
Yeah.
information,
Mhm.
so I always learn from you, which is.
My calling as being a tour guide of some sorts. I don't know.
Would you become one ever?
I don't know. I don't really have the ambition to do that, but sometimes I think it's also like maybe I should have become a stand-up comedian. That would have fit my bill very well just as well,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
Maybe I should
spreading,
write this down. It's just gold
yeah,
material, but yeah.
spreading happiness everywhere.
Yeah, and or I'll just try to chisel on a bit with my colleagues at work.
Yeah,
Tell it to one person, and it's kind of wonky. Like, oh, I should tell this in a certain better
yeah,
way, and then I try it on someone else.
yeah.
Like, ah, or maybe I missed the boat on that. I don't
No, I think frankly, you're getting very, you're getting better and better with the jokes and the
know.
timing and the pauses and the
All right.
humor. Yeah,
So I was
yeah,
terrible at the
it
beginning.
does light
Good
up.
to know.
It does light up our days,
Yeah.
like the members of the photo walk.
Yeah.
Everybody's laughing, so
Yeah, I noticed that. I think,
yeah.
this is a nice audience. Yeah.
And also, always wanted to know how do you plan these field trips?
Hmm.
Because I've never done. So I'm also I'm also trying to learn from you. And what goes on in your mind? Like, do you have a running list of shots that you always want to get, or is it more like, okay, I'll just go with the flow? And like, what's your creative process like?
Yeah, it's very, it varies a lot because it's, on one hand, sometimes some things I plan like a year in advance
Yeah.
along with other people. Sometimes there are people who I can go along with. There's also like a deviation into how we execute the trip itself, the shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's something I get involved with the people actually flying the planes, or something that is like a spotters day. It's organized. Last November, I went along with 48 German people in a bus
Mhm.
onto a recently renovated airbase in the north of Germany.
Mhm.
It was raining all day, which was fine. I consider myself an all-weather photographer, and my gear can handle it.
Mhm.
But it's usually um, that was all planned out.
Mhm.
So you kind of get an itinerary of what's supposed to happen all that day, and
Mhm.
it doesn't all work out the way it was planned. Also because of the rain back then, but usually you get like a program of stuff that's going on. Also with an air show, you can just find a program. An air show, like you have the spotters days and the air shows. Those are two
Yeah.
really big different things.
Okay.
We also have places that I just go, as I like to call it myself, at the fence. So that's actually kind of the spotting kind of thing. Just see what happens. Usually, if I do that, we're already informed in advance of what kind of stuff we can expect. Like
Okay.
tomorrow, I'll be going to Volkel Air Base.
Who informs these things?
This is something either I know some people who organize these things, either civil or military people who know certain people, or I know certain people who can give some information. Hey, a heads up, something's coming, or it's on internet forums or Facebook pages, groups,
Mhm.
stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes I missed the boat just as well. I was not informed at all, and it's like, ah, shit, I should have gone there, and
Mhm.
I totally missed it. Beautiful lighting, beautiful setting, this and that and the other. Most of the times, I'm trying to just browse around. Like the doom scrolling is pretty precise with me in that sense. Like
Mhm.
I try to get well informed of stuff that I might could capitalize on
Mhm.
and go to. And then there's also some certain things I off well on and off do business to business stuff that I actually ask people, or people ask me to do a photo shoot or of something.
Mhm.
It could be like well, a couple of years ago during the Corona pandemic, there was this one guy here on the airport um, from the Vliegclub Twente,
Mhm.
which is a general flying club. He built his own aircraft,
Oh.
and he got that thing certified. And during the final phases of him actually flying that aircraft, along with a
Wow.
certified person pilot, I got to do an interview, because that's also
Wow.
something I do. Sometimes I go to as a press member, I do accreditation to get into like a press day, and
Yeah.
I can interview people. I can get portraits of the people to go along with the text, and then I write that down as well.
Oh, wow.
And that's the weblog
Mhm.
aspect of what I do as well. It's not
Yeah.
just photography, but it's also getting some more information to go along with my pictures that go
Yeah.
more in depth.
I do see that photojournalistic streak in you when I
Yeah.
see, even when you share in our photo walk group, the pictures. I really love reading the stories that
Hmm.
the behind the scenes, and it's a lot of fun. And
Yeah.
then I had no idea that you had this blog earlier
Hmm.
until I asked you, why
Yeah.
don't you write more? And
Yeah,
then
yeah, yeah. And it's like, oh, actually, I've been doing
that
this
was
for like 10
funny.
years or something.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good
But it's
work
also
actually.
that's always very interesting. Some people, and you actually also suggested to do certain things that I haven't done already, and then that does trigger something in me, like, ah, food for thought. Maybe I should do that in the future.
Hmm.
And because I'm not with Burma 99, I'm not there with all the ideas that I still have out for it to become. Like I
Yeah.
want to do some merch. I want to expand the website that I have right now, burma99.com. Um,
Yeah.
it's on hold because of the whole web management thing. It's a long story, but I hope to expand on that and be that as the main place to put all my content and stories, and then have it be on Facebook and Instagram
Yeah.
also alongside with the content.
Yeah. Do you
And then,
plan on getting an assistant in
well,
in
I've
future
yeah,
who would manage?
I thought about doing that a couple of years ago with my best friend, appointing him as a manager, but it didn't really work out the way it should. And he's doing his own career um, in IT, and
Mm-hmm.
it's all fine. Um, but I don't know if I should expand too much on like putting certain tasks to other people.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
But on the other hand, if I still am juggling between having a fixed job, which is something completely different, and doing
Yeah.
then this, it's usually also editing in all of my downtime moments. So
Mm-hmm.
if I come back from work, I'll eat something, have a drink, and then get back to my computer and editing.
You also
Yeah.
edit in cars and trains.
Yes, yes, because I do want to get my content out as quickly as possible. Just because I also always start my journeys with like on the road again with like the
Mm-hmm.
shaka thing, and so people who are fans of my work, they'll know like, oh, good, something cool
Yeah.
is coming on. I couldn't join, but I'm and yeah, the feedback's also very great in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you've been very quick with very prompt with find like editing the images and sharing. I could never do. That's something that I have to learn from you
Mm,
actually.
mm.
I like to sit on it, roost on my images, and then
Yeah,
wait it out, and then when I feel like it, my process is very slow as compared to you, but
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's also something like I don't have Wi-Fi on my cameras currently. I bought a new camera that does,
awesome.
so that might really change things in that sense
Yeah.
coming from that camera. But I also usually always carry my laptop because um, there is something like I have my editing process in a certain way that my pictures should come out in a certain way.
Mhm.
And if it's as shot, I consider them diamonds in the rough. You have to cut them, shape and
Yeah.
polish them till they're good for someone to see.
Mhm.
And they're very quick cameras, so lots of clicks and lots of stuff. Less is more. You try
Mhm.
to only pick out the cherries. They're perfect,
Yeah.
and you know that's also the thing you asked me before we had the little break just now. If I have an image in my mind before I go,
Yeah.
and often I do. Sometimes it's really rough, and sometimes it's very precise to get like this one shot. Like
Oh.
either it's because somebody else has made something from that exact position that I try to emulate.
Mhm.
Um, on the other hand, it's something like it'll probably look this way, certain kind of way, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But usually it's very locked in. I zone into like getting that, and everything else that happens, that's bonus.
Mhm.
But mainly, I try to tell a story. So
Yes.
it's if I go somewhere one day, I try to tell a visual story of what I set out to do, and
Is
whichever way it turns out to be.
sorry to interrupt, but like is the project Plane Crazy also linked with telling stories?
Yes, we haven't come around to that, but that's like another chapter altogether. If we could go into that, it's something I got challenged to in as a final project
Mhm.
I graduated with from photographic school,
Mhm.
and challenging or the challenge was to not focus on the aircraft, but focus on people, and not per se people executing what that aviation was, but people who are just like me.
Fascinated.
Yes, people who are plain crazy.
Yeah. Oh.
That's a little pun in there, and that also
Okay.
suits me as a person, of course. But it's something I'm very serious about. But it's a series. Of course, I take pictures of fellow photographers or just people who are just onlookers because
Yeah.
alongside a road, a general road, alongside an airbase where an air show is going, loads of people who are not just as zoned in as me. There's lots of
Mhm.
people with telephoto lenses, but also people with their phones out, or just
Mhm.
little childs on the back of the
Yeah.
shoulders of dad, and just looking like that. And that little spark in there is something that I delved into like what's the gist of trying to capture this specific thing that people are doing, because it is a niche thing
Mm-hmm.
and you only see it where I go all the
Yeah.
time. And I realized that it's something not a lot of other people in general get to see at all. So
Yeah.
trying to put my finger on that, visually I tell the story with not just people looking at that, but it's trying to get pictures with as least amount of aircraft in the picture. That's one of the rules I have with that, but also trying to get like a little joke in there, like
Yeah.
a visual joke.
Oh yeah.
Like you have one person with like packed first row of an air show with all these people with their big telephoto lenses, and then there's somebody at the back. I light it out a little bit with like a super small camera, trying to be as serious as everybody else. Stuff like that, or it's just a weird setting, like in the middle of nowhere in a grain field, and there's like all these people on stairs, kitchen stairs with big
Yeah.
lenses, and it's like, what are they photographing? What they're photographing is outside the frame,
Yeah.
and that's also less is more kind of a strong image thing, um, and it all has to fit together. So
Mm.
you could take lots of pictures of these people, but not telling the same story. It has to fit into a series. And my ambition with that is to eventually try to get that exposed, like with nice prints, a nice way to light that out in like a
Yeah.
photo exposition.
Yeah. That would be
That's
cool.
yeah. I've did that a couple times, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
Also with photographic school.
Mm-hmm.
However, not in a way I still. It's a little spark in the back of my mind. Like it's not finished yet.
That's on your bucket list.
Yes, definitely. Uh-huh.
We'll talk
Yeah.
more about your bucket list later,
Yeah.
but I feel in a way you picture that like the perspective of people, how they see planes also mirrors your emotions as a child, and
Hmm.
how you saw planes when you were a child, and also the humor element
Yeah.
creeps in even
Yeah.
in your images, so
Yeah, not just
your
in the title, but
personality. Yeah,
visually. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
But on the other hand, I've actually thought about this because I also have it as uh, um, a photo album on the Berman and I Facebook page, and I've
mm-hmm.
written down a whole story where I try to put my finger on
Mm-hmm.
explaining this because I remember I took a picture of like this one aircraft spotter at Leeuwarden Air Base somewhere in a grass field.
Mm-hmm.
He was standing on an empty crate of Coca-Cola bottles just to be. It doesn't matter at all to be standing on that. I mean, the grass wasn't soggy or anything. It wasn't trying to keep his feet wet. He just wanted to be just a little bit closer. And I think that's somewhere unconsciously something that's also a strong element in that series, or actually in the business, the practice of people doing that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just to try to get up there a bit more,
Yeah.
just to leave everything else on the ground behind. That's also a thing
Oh
you
yeah.
can experience if you're ever flown in an aircraft, and you really feel that strongly. Like all of the sorrows, all of the things is just very. Um, it's an impunity.
Yeah.
Like everything it's if you're on a mountainside just as well, you think like, yeah, somebody 3 kilometers on the other mountainside up there, he might be there. I cannot see them, and
Yeah.
he's worried about just as much shit as I am.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter at all in the grand scheme of things. And I think
Astronauts talk about this
yes,
a lot.
yeah,
This effect of
I guess that's even
um
stronger than
yeah, like you feel minimalized by
yes, yeah,
the surroundings, that
exactly,
you don't matter, like nothing really matters when you're up there.
yeah. So and if you then think that about yourself, it can be a bit dooming. But on
Yeah.
the other
No,
hand,
but it's
you can flip that around
yeah.
again and see how quirky it is that people are executing something, doing that either very much unconsciously or
Yeah.
consciously, like going onto an embankment to get a certain shot.
Yeah.
I do the same thing, like
Yeah.
I have my my advanced portable ladder, as I like to call it. I put some wheels on it so I can have it very mobile and can be up high, very stable. I can put my umbrella on the side of it, stuff like
Those
that.
are actually those sound like very important equipment.
Yeah, it's a bit of equipment that I kind of built myself, like
Yeah.
throughout the years.
Apart from
Yes,
your laptop, your ladder and umbrella, what else do you carry? Of course, you carry your
I
camera
of
and
course I carry
lens.
cameras and lenses, and
Yeah.
also two flashes.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. I didn't know about that.
you should have known that from last week's trip because I used it once.
No, but like for
Um,
even for aircrafts.
yeah, I
Uh,
did that once. I had a course to learn specifics in cutting from my day job
mhm.
at the main facility, which is in Rotterdam, which happens to be smack dab at the final approach of Rotterdam The Hague Airport,
Oh, okay.
which is nice because I could spend the whole week there in a hotel paid for by the company and all that. I asked for a room with a view of 5 stories up, which was awesome. Um, and I took it upon myself to try something new, which is use my flash to its maximum strength
Mhm.
and to just take one picture of it coming overhead whilst upon
Oh,
landing.
yeah,
And it
yeah.
worked out really awesome. So I use that sometimes, but also if I'm like on a press day and I take portraits of people,
Mhm.
then it kind of helps.
Yeah,
It can help because sometimes it's pretty dark inside of wherever venue that takes place. But
yeah.
mainly, yeah, of course, it's telephoto lens a lot. But I have two cameras that I mainly operate nowadays.
Mhm.
Also because of redundancy, if one were to fail for whatever reason, also the all weather photography side of things, I've heard on that Spotters Day I mentioned before last November, somebody's R7 died because it was waterlogged.
Oh,
It was raining all day. I
what
buy my
happened?
equipment that can handle my how I use it dynamically, as I
Yeah.
like to say it. It's dynamically because yeah, it has to handle like some beating, dry conditions, freezing conditions, wet
Yeah.
conditions just as well. Everything's lined and all of the buttons don't let water through, stuff like that.
Which one do you have? Which camera do you?
I'm a Canonian. Yeah, I know you're of Nikon.
Nikonian.
Yeah, we can stand each other as the thing goes. But yeah, I've used Canon since I took over my mother's gear,
Mhm.
and then I went digital in August of 2004. Say, but it was that long ago. I feel old again.
Mhm.
And that was a 10D, which was like a semi-professional model. But I already got 100 400
Mhm.
Mark One lens, like the
Mhm.
wide lens, the L lens
Mhm.
from Canon, which was pretty good.
Mhm.
But the camera was slow and not that much megapixel, and just the cards were expensive as well,
Mhm.
the memory cards. So I opted to shoot everything in the largest JPEG instead of RAW,
Oh, okay.
and I'm still fighting in post production of those older pictures to crank those up to a level that's still looking
Yeah.
workable. And if you want to print something out really large, you'll see it.
Yeah.
As opposed to what I'm using now is 1D Mark III, which is a professional camera of, well, I think it's over 12 years old now. The Mark IV is my current latest model,
Mhm.
and I've recently just acquired a 1DX Mark II, which
Mhm.
is way better than what I had before, and it's coming in like next week somewhere in the mail.
Mhm.
And
The
I'm not,
lenses.
yeah, I actually got a first prize of the Luchtmachtdagen contest, photo contest
Wow.
in 2019. This was last year. The Dutch, or the Royal Netherlands Air Force hosted the Luchtmachtdagen, which was always a staple for me. It happened here just as well at Twente Air Base back in the day, and that was at Volkel Air Base, which I'm going to tomorrow too.
Mhm.
And there's an aviation society who organize trips all over the world for aviation.
Mhm.
They joined hands with a camera or a photo store in
Okay.
Uden, which is close by there,
Okay.
and they offered prizes. I won the first prize, which is really cool. Also, very nice that the jury thought it was good that there was people on there too. But from the money I got was 2,000 euros.
Ooh, that's
That's a
huge.
lot.
Yeah.
I got my current telephoto lens, which is also 100
Nice.
400, but it's the newer model,
Mhm.
and that thing is just super fine, sharp over the whole range. It's really
Mhm.
quick as well.
Mhm.
And but I use that one on my usually on my newest camera, so the Mark IV at this moment, 1D Mark
Mhm.
IV, and this one I have right here just to show it for everybody and also just to hear what how fast it is. Yeah. Oh, it's set on really slow. Hold on. This is how quick it can be.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's 12 and a half frames per second. Still, though, there are certain moments that I miss certain actions that the sweet spot frame should be
Yeah.
in. Yeah, in between those ones.
Decisive moment.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if I also brought something
Oh
else,
yeah.
it's a little show and tell. This is what I used when I started out. Eventually, I got this 400 millimeter lens and I got the power winder. It's set on a bit of a weird setting, but it
Mhm.
sounds like this. Doesn't that just sound awesome as it is? That's how I used to do it, but there's also like this lever you can pull.
Oh.
See that? And yeah, it's set on a weird mode that you should press the button and then it makes the picture, but
Oh.
it doesn't matter. It's living in my glass cabinet just for show at home.
Was that your first camera?
Yes, the Canon A1 with
Yeah.
manual focus lenses, and but it was half automatic already. You could use like the AV and TV modes,
Oh, nice.
manual modes just as well. And I took like night shots with that
Oh,
of nighttime operations of the F-16s here as well.
yeah.
So I got creative pretty quickly with that gear. And yeah, since actually like a roll of film cost like I guess under 10 guilders at the time,
Mhm.
on the top of my head, it wasn't that much of an issue
Oh, okay.
just to try to experiment a little, you know, like because I shot in negative films most of the times,
Mhm.
like slides that was really expensive shit, and you get the results back in 3 weeks or something.
But did you also develop them yourself?
Black and white, I did at the
Wow.
time. Like, yeah, my mother used to have like a dark room that I took over for a while, and I got some of
Mhm.
the chemicals and all that stuff.
Mhm.
I used to learn that in my first education in 2002.
Mhm.
It was a really big part. It was a really big thing that they actually had a digital camera at the time. That was like introduced when I
Yeah.
started, and
Right.
I think it was a Nikon D100 or something.
D50.
50 maybe, yeah. It was really
That
old, and
was
they
my
got two
first.
of them.
That was my first DSLR.
Yeah, and they had like a ton of analog cameras and
Mhm.
a really big area dark room with a machine. You could just pull the exposed bit of paper in, and it'll come out perfectly
Mhm.
clean and dry.
Wow.
Yeah,
Cannot
that's
imagine.
how I learned it, and it's very interesting if you then learn the tools in Photoshop later on. It's
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's exactly what I did analog, like in the dark room or this and
Mhm.
that. Like I guess most people who are learning the tools now, you have no idea why it's shaped like that.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
to me, because I just started out in the final days of analog, I got that learned and baked in my
Yeah.
memory.
So I guess it really helps to be old.
Yes,
To see the whole
it's
journey.
not necessarily a bad thing. Yes, it can help. Yes, it can be a good power to have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
Because you've seen the evolution, kind of
Yes.
how
Yeah, and
you went
also
into.
with smartphones, because yeah, you mentioned before with planning trips, I used to go to Switzerland just using a like a AN ANWB, like
Mhm.
the usual maps you can get out of the Netherlands.
Mhm.
It's a 2D map of where
Mhm.
you're going
Yeah.
from Germany, and it's like, oh, we have to go down south, and if you take a wrong turn, it's it'll be a very hard way to get all those side roads because
Yeah.
you don't know where you are. And
Correct.
yeah, I
Correct.
was usually always the navigator.
Mhm.
and I still am. But now we could just use Google Maps, and
Mhm.
it just tells you, boom, and oh,
Mhm.
you have to take that route now because you're over there. You took a wrong turn. Yeah, back in the day, we had to do that all by ourselves and in our mind.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Would you say that I did see your images that you made in the mountains and plains.
Yes.
What a great combo. Would you say that that was the most challenging condition for you?
As an experience, the very first time I've ever did that was in 2003 in October of that year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was something me and a friend of mine back in the day conjured up. He went there a year before, and so he already had that experience. And his mother was from Zug in Switzerland,
Mm-hmm.
because it was in Switzerland. But it was I've seen this from like Peter Stehauer, which is a very world-renowned Dutch photographer, aviation
Mm-hmm.
photographer, and he's been there already like in 1996 or something, or maybe
Oh wow.
earlier for the very first time. He somehow that was something for him to do, and then it stuck.
What's his name?
Peter Stehauer,
Peter Seehauer.
yeah,
Okay.
from stehauer.com.
Okay.
.com.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that really got lots of people excited thereafter, like I was and like my friend was. The reason why it really stuck with me still, I still have like a very well-renowned patch of it, the
Mm-hmm.
Mirage 3s, the RS versions, the reconnaissance versions. That
Yeah.
was the main thing to get because back in the day there was lots of stuff, lots of old jets that were just at the verge of getting withdrawn from service.
Mm-hmm.
You could still get in the action, and how awesome is it to get those kinds of yeah, the bottom side of those jets are white and the top side of just drab colors like brown
Oh.
and green and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's most of the jets these days, military, are all gray.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really something visually very appealing to try
Mm-hmm.
to get that, and especially if you have like in the mountains the background with snow and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Snow is the whole thing why that almost got the better of us because we
Yeah.
got caught in a blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
Also, we didn't have an app for that. We didn't have a phone for that back in the day, so we just listened to the radio in Swiss dialect,
Mm-hmm.
and we tried to go up there and got pretty much stuck almost in a blizzard, and we stumbled down again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, 2 days, 1 day later, they advised us not to go up because of avalanche danger.
Mm-hmm.
It was that much of an issue there, and it was really fierce, really cold, and the hard winds almost blew us off the side of the mountain where we were walking,
Mm-hmm.
hiking, and but it was eventually 2 days. 3 days later, we actually got our prize, what we wanted for, like on a
Mm-hmm.
reserve day. They did the whole air show up there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's 2 kilometers above sea level,
Mm-hmm.
which is pretty tough hike for
Yeah.
somebody who's used to these kinds of
Yeah.
like the air molecules are pretty tight together here. If you go
Mm-hmm.
higher, then they'll be becoming thinner and
High
thinner.
pressure?
Yeah, it's just air
Yeah.
pressure because of the altitude.
Yeah.
The less gravity there is, actually, it's a physics
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
As I mentioned before, it's yeah, it's hiking up the mountain, so you need good gear, not just your camera gear, of course, which is a very heavy burden to bring along. Um, yeah, for next year in Switzerland, we really have to think about what stuff we bring. And my mate already said who I'm going with, bring more camera batteries and enough memory cards and no laptop. Leave
Mm-hmm.
that stuff in the car, and because we'll be sleeping up in the mountains because we're going for a 6 hour hike to where we want to shoot from where we can leave the
Wow.
car. And intermediately we'll just be camping out somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's bare minimum stuff. And usually yeah, you know me, I always bring too much stuff, so at least have enough. That's what I like to say. Yeah, over prepared. Yeah, it's just like being too early, at least you'll be on time, kind of that philosophy.
Yeah.
But yeah, for that we really have to be specific.
Mm-hmm.
And usually I usually bring 3 cameras as a basis to everything, which the third camera is just as a spare. And it has a 85 millimeter lens on it,
Mm-hmm.
which I actually hardly ever use, but it is a 1.2 lens, which is very light, strong,
Oh yeah.
and interesting to use. But it's prime. I'm used to using zoom lenses a lot. But then again, yeah, it's just redundancy. Trying to not be caught off guard with something breaking or failing, or if it does, you can quickly shift to something else and resolve the problem later. Because I have had it happen once in 2006, I think. I dropped my camera that I had back then, and not long thereafter, the shutter broke. It was like you had the lamels, and they were just cut over each other. Yeah, it was really just a horrific sight to see when you just take the lens off. It's like, oh damn, this camera's shot.
Yeah.
So I could rely on somebody else's reserve camera, and that's what I thought, like, I should have a reserve camera at least. And I have done some dabbling into other things to get some money, photography wise. I did 2 weddings, I did some other photo shoots, and especially the wedding, it's not my bag per se, and by trying that out, I found that out, it's like, yeah, you have to organize so much more, and so much more specific, and executing it. But if your camera breaks and it's your only camera, you cannot say like, oh, let me just call somebody up and get another camera in, and we'll just hold for 2 hours. At the moment that they're handing over the rings or something, you can't do that. So you have to have some redundancy in that sense. And well, with mirrorless cameras, I don't think that happens that much. But these things, they have like a mirror going really fast, and it's all mechanical, and everything can break. Especially, as I said before, I use my stuff dynamically.
But apart from that, are there any other challenges? For example, security issues, or like that you were not allowed to stand there, but
sometimes,
you miss your shot.
Yeah, usually it's fine, but like coming back to the at the fence photographing, the spotting, I did that not too long ago, a month ago, twice. At Ramstein Air Base. That's an American air base, which is the biggest air base in Europe of the US Air Force. And now with Operation Epic Fury that's going on, even though it's a truce, they still have to get all of the supplies in. And they just kept on flying day in, day out, night and day. Which was an awesome opportunity to go there, but we already were informed about how the situation is just right outside the fence. Officially, you're not allowed to photograph or capture anything of the infrastructure. And the moment you do, and you get seen by security forces, either the German Polizei or the military police of the US Air Force that are patrolling, and you have cameras as well. If they see you point, even with binoculars that cannot capture anything, they'll get dispatched. And we got actually, it seemed like a little bit of filling in a Tinder form in some kind of way. Like, what's your height, what's your color eyes, and all that stuff, and what work do you do, what kind of car you have, or what insurance, all that bollocks. And it took like over an hour, and those guys who got dispatched, they also didn't like it that much. And it's fine, you show them your pictures and we know what's allowed and what's not allowed. And they say like, it's fine. The quirky thing was, 2 days later, because the last time I was there for 4 days, 2 days after that first long inquisitive security check went along, another team came to us at the other side of the runways. And they did the whole same procedure again. They got out those forms. So I asked them, like, did your major or the person who told you to do all this stuff, did they just throw it into the paper cutter or something? Like, we already have done this. Like, if you check our IDs, you just show your passport and then it's fine. Yeah, it has happened, and I mean, we know what our restrictions are, and we try to keep within that.
So you're just allowed to point your cameras towards the sky and...
Yeah. Well, you're allowed to record stuff. If you point your camera to the base, it's fine, but if you click anything, it's officially not allowed.
But how do they know that you're clicking?
They don't, but that's the whole thing. If you point your lens towards it and they see it, then they get dispatched, even though you're clicking or not. That's the whole thing about it.
The angles matter where you are.
Yeah, if you got anything of the infrastructure on there, that's might be a security risk. Because yeah, if you had evil in mind, you could derive certain things like, oh, they're loading up certain things because there's pallets outside of that cargo aircraft loading, like you can see in front of the aircraft. It's kind of stuff like that mainly.
But taking pictures of the planes, they don't.
No, that's officially allowed. My friend actually had he went as far as going to the consulate, the German consulate and the American German consulate in Germany, and he got like these explainers he can show to those people, like, this is what we're doing within these confines. We know our rights, and this is legal.
Okay.
Yeah.
The paperwork.
Yes, yeah. He actually got around to get those exploits to show them if shit would hit the fan. Yeah. But it never really did in that sense. It's just a bit of a bother, but it's just as much of a bother of the people filling in those forums.
Yeah.
Because and they said like, yeah, we're working on a digital way of, because the thing is, we as aircraft spotters and serious photographers around a military facility, we can report something if we see like somebody trying to climb over a fence or whatever. We can report that, and actually I told them that, and we got like a special phone number we can call if that were to happen.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're trying to get that digitally, so they don't have to do all that bollock. It took an hour before they get everything sorted. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's because of course they're a little paranoid because of the whole Epic Fury Iran thing.
In any case, like anything which is connected with the military, they have security.
Yeah, well, civil aviation as well, but it's not as tense as that, especially if there's a war going on, you know. Yeah.
And how did you make a picture of Max Verstappen?
Oh yeah, that was something I planned out kind of, because I knew the VIP aircraft at Schiphol Airport. We're talking about the Dutch Grand Prix of 2025, which happened at Zandvoort, of course. Their private planes, they got stored after landing at the special apron at Schiphol Oost, which is a certain area of the humongous airport of Schiphol. And other aircraft just as well from other drivers and their team bosses and stuff like that. And I knew after the race, usually they just scaramouche as quickly as they can. It was Max Verstappen and his team boss and his engineer, but also the Mercedes team boss and his wife. They came in via helicopter, and that was just a gift for us, where we stood just outside the fence on step ladders. They just landed the helicopters right in front of us. So when they depart the helicopter, you can photograph them real quick before they get into a van that brings them to the private jets.
So and for situations like these, what should be the minimal focal length that someone who is trying to delve into this kind of photography?
Yeah,
minimal focal length.
In general, if you really want to photograph just the aircraft, I would advise at least 100 to 400. The zoom lens is also very good, because sometimes you're up pretty close. And it's not a shame if you can't get the whole aircraft in frame, unless that's exactly what you want. You can also get a close-up. Yeah. Maybe just extra zoom in to the pilot, and you get a way more interesting image.
100 would be the lowest points. 100 mm.
Yeah, what I said, my 100 400 is really versatile in that area, but sometimes I must say that 400 is not enough, even though I have cameras that have a 1.3 crop factor, so it's actually 530. Like if you were to convert it to what it says on the edge of the lens. But yeah, 400 is quite a lot, but you also have to keep in mind that the more you zoom in, the more you shake,
Exactly.
the less likely it is to get a sharp image unless you have something like a stabilizer in there, which most proper lenses have, but they are more expensive. And like if you just want to shoot like something that's still like a landscape, or you want to zoom in a lot, you don't per se need that.
Yeah.
And you can get by with cheaper lenses. But yeah, the thing is also with like a football game, those photographers, they have like the 4.0 lenses, 400, 500 millimeter. The opening is this big. And that's because there's a lot of light coming in, so you can take a quicker picture.
Yeah.
Luckily, these days, the ISO rating of cameras are filtered out that it's not as noisy, so you can actually bump that up and get shorter shutter speeds with that too. And I guess if you start off, don't do what I do, don't buy this stuff, but go to mirrorless if you have the option, if you have the money. Because mirrorless is, it's a learning curve, because it's very wide in what the options are, but if you get it right, you'll get way more options in your results.
I was trying to visualize how it is on the field, and that's why I was asking you so many questions about
Mm-hmm.
what goes on and all of that. But how much patience do you require when it comes
Yes.
to
Well,
getting that shot
yeah,
of things?
patience can be a virtue, of course. I actually, it was in 2003 that I went on the road with a friend of mine to a big US and German exercise in the north of Germany that I actually fought when we were driving very early in the morning out to the airbase again, just to wait till the action was happening. And I actually came to grips to wording it like this. Um, my philosophy is what we usually do is we go out at crazy o'clock and we go around all of the touristical places just to stand out in a field in the middle of nowhere next to a barbed wire, stand up on ladders with very expensive camera equipment, and most of the time all we do is just wait. That's pretty much the gist of it. But between the waiting, of course, is when the magic happens. But yeah, a good example is again coming back to those Ramstein trips. It's Ramstein is a cargo airfield generally. They handle lots of military cargo, which goes from either munitions to food to whatever else, and they haul it over from the states to there, and then they distribute it onto the Middle East or wherever else they need it. So it goes on 24/7. I said that before, and it happens sometimes. You got like 6 aircraft coming in half an hour time, all very quickly. Sometimes you have to wait for 3 hours and nothing goes on, but you're in the middle of nature, and we try to go out, even though the mantra of the all-weather photographer, it also goes to we try to go out in good weather with nice sunny spells. And we did back then as well. And so most of the time you're in the middle of nature, and there's like these bugs and birds all flying around, and nice scenery to see. So I try to capture that as well, just to break the boredom a little. Yeah, and besides that, but I also like to photograph. As we started out the podcast, that photo walks really does me well because some certain things that I've learned in school were completely different kinds of photography, like street photography. We did studio photography, this and that and the other, which is completely different disciplines and a completely creative, different way of looking at things, which helps me a lot in how I shoot my pictures in aviation photography, because I like to tell that story as compelling as I like. And a big factor in that is the wow factor. I'd like to have my viewers go wow every time they see a picture of mine. And that's a big factor in that. I almost forgot to mention that. Like, yeah, the wow factor.
Wow factor.
Yeah, that's really big, and usually it happens. Sometimes people just write wow. It's like I got it, success. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it like the mystery of what's happening and how did it end up there, and that creates that wow factor and the intrigue of not being able to imagine that this could have happened, and then you see it bam in the frame, and that contributes to the wow factor
What
because
do you
it's
mean?
some
I didn't anticipate
no, like
to have that scene play out in front of my lens,
the
or?
audience wouldn't know that, like, we
Oh
cannot
yeah.
like, for
Well.
me that's what happens, like when I look at your pictures. Why I would say wow is because, oh wow, like a child on someone's shoulders, and then there's a plane,
Mm-hmm.
like such a beautiful moment, and you could capture that.
Yeah.
And then there are some fleeting moments, which
They're all fleeting moments,
yeah,
really. Actually,
exactly,
it's never really something you set up.
yeah,
You try to anticipate to getting a certain result, but it never really
mm-hmm.
turns out exactly the way you planned.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's also my experience. I never get disappointed, but I often get surprised because the thing I set out to get, even though it would be like a very certain shot, and sometimes that does happen exactly the way I planned out,
Mm-hmm.
but that's more rare than it actually ever happens. And you should keep your mind's eye open to
Mm-hmm.
whatever else is happening and might actually fly into the frame. Like something that's big in my photography is also getting like crossing shots, either with the moon or with the sun.
Mm-hmm.
You can anticipate that ever so slightly, or with other aircraft in the back.
Mm-hmm.
um, that's something I run around for, actually trying to anticipate to get that, and sometimes you just get lucky. Like there's
Yeah.
an airliner creating like those white stripes in the background, and it just hits where your other aircraft, your main focus is, main subject in the foreground is,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes you line it up and you have to like, oh, I have to
Yeah.
walk a couple of meters left or right, and
Yeah.
you run around and then you get it. That's
Yeah.
also where these quick cameras come in handy, to get it all sharp as well.
Yeah.
But it's there's a lot of luck involved in that sense, and I think my ADD really works very well as a superpower in that, just to try to um, see that before it happens and try to mobilize before it doesn't, and try to
Yeah.
capitalize it on, and it works out more often than it doesn't.
Yeah, you're actually very nimble on your toes, even
Yeah,
in the photo walks I've seen.
yeah,
Remember, like when we were doing this challenge,
yes,
color hunt,
yes,
you said after 10 minutes you were like, okay, I'm done.
yes.
How's that possible?
Yeah,
But
and
then,
I was, but then again, I got like a second spur, and
yeah,
I felt very much more relaxed doing that. But then I got back into that zone, like, oh, there's something, and
yeah,
I just go there and try to capture it. And
yeah,
most sometimes you get misses, sometimes it just doesn't frame
yeah.
that well, like you find your first spark is. But eventually, yeah,
Nevertheless, the images were great. I mean,
right?
it's a power, as you
Yeah,
said. Yeah, it's
superpower.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a superpower.
Oh yeah, and the last thing I wanted to elaborate on was, I already spoke at the beginning of the podcast. Birdman
Oh
99.
yeah,
Yes, the
the
99 comes from the first year I actively started photographing aircraft and elaborated on it. But the Birdman part is, my last name is Vink, which is
mm-hmm.
Finch
Oh,
for the bird, the type of bird.
okay.
But it was at the time during high school that, for certain amount of time, people got like a nickname,
Oh,
and
okay.
I was the Birdman, and that kind of happened separately from what aircraft spotters at Twente Air Base back in the day told me. Like I was looking through my lens
Mm-hmm.
for the Birdman, which is the car that came over for runway inspection and fired off some loud flares, for fireworks flares, just to scare off the birds, because you don't want to have
Oh,
those ingested into an F-16 engine or something.
yeah.
So that was the Birdman. I was the Birdman spotter because I didn't have a radio scanner. But if that car came down the runway,
Mm-hmm.
then it meant, oh, I have to go grab my camera, because the F-16 will come on in a
Mm-hmm.
couple minutes thereafter.
Mhm.
But nowadays, of course, we have this, which is a radio scanner. This is
Ooh.
my current model. I don't know if it already picks up on something. This thing is also a big tool for me, and it's very interesting to know the jargon of what aviators and air traffic controllers
That
are speaking to each other.
Alpha Delta Charlie Tango, that
That's
kind of thing, or
yes, that's that.
I just know that because my sister flies, so
Yeah,
I've heard
but
her.
that's just a numerical or the phonetic alphabet, the
Yeah.
NATO alphabet.
Mhm.
And yeah, of course, all of the banks are on, and nothing gets picked up right now. But I use this as a tool
Mhm.
mainly now that I'm not the Birdman spotter anymore. I use this so I know something will be coming in again, because sometimes you're just chatting with each other at a military airbase. Some
Mhm.
jets will fly off, and it takes 2 hours for them to come back.
Yeah.
And if you're suddenly surprised by the sound of them, they're visually it's already too late. In this way, you
Yes.
already know in advance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to really ask you about young photographers who are trying to get into the field, not just into photography, but specifically into aircraft photography. For them, first thing, like, how do you monetize? Like, how do you, the
Hmm.
money matters? Should they think about it? Can they earn something? Because it is expensive,
Yes.
all of this gear and also the
For
travel.
me, I can't live off of it. Like, and it's a long game. If you have enough followers on Instagram, you can monetize it. But you have to start your own business to do that
Mm-hmm.
because of tax regulations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still in the process of doing that to add ads to it
Mm-hmm.
so I can make some money on the side. But yeah, try to get publicized. I'd say
Mm-hmm.
that's a big one. Try to just get your foot in the door with magazines online,
Mm-hmm.
printed magazines as far as they still exist. But it don't shoot for likes. That's one of the
Yeah.
big things.
Yeah.
Shoot because you want to tell a story, because of your passion, because you want to tell something, and that's try to be genuine in that sense.
Yeah.
That's my main tip I want to give everybody.
Yeah.
Um, if for me, it's also I try to tell the passion of somebody else just as much as my passion, and it's either one thing or the other or both, and
Mm-hmm.
it's the passion of aviation.
It does
Yeah,
seep through the images.
passion
Like,
for flight.
yeah, yeah,
That's my jargon in that sense. Yeah,
yeah. It does show up in your work.
yeah.
That passion, the love that you put into the images and all, like into the creation, and
Hmm.
also
That's good to hear
people.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I hope everybody else feels the same way.
yeah. Of course,
Yeah.
that's why you have so many followers on Facebook.
Yes.
How
Yeah.
many are there?
We're currently, what was it again? Over 12,000.
Mm-hmm.
So I can monetize it, but I'm still in the process of that. Yeah, 12,930.
Mm,
Yeah.
that's something.
Yeah, and only a small base of them actually are very active with it, which is awesome enough. And I get good feedback from them. And
Yeah.
as I said before, some people are critical, as they should, and all the hecklers are just put aside. Like some
Mm-hmm.
people, I have had it before. Like, oh, it's just AI, is fake. Yeah, that's if you take the wow factor too far.
Yeah.
If they take it too far, let's just say it right,
Yeah.
because I don't take it too far. I think, um, but yeah, it has happened. But it's the same things. Like it's been photoshopped. That's what people said like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everything's photoshopped, isn't it? Everything's as I said, it's a diamond in the rough. So you have to polish it a little.
It's a good thing that you have good engagement because people might have millions of followers but not much engagement. That's not good.
Hmm.
But in your case, people are actually invested
Yeah,
in the content. So that is
yeah,
great.
that's always very nice.
Really wanted to ask you about how having this stable income, that day job, fuels your artist.
Yeah, it's very important because I haven't found a way to monetize it properly that I can live off of it. So and I also have to pay the bills. I rent a place. I have a couple cats.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I have my bills to pay, all that stuff. If you have to rely on your art, you'll have to make it first, and making it is a very I don't really agree with that term because if you make it, then it feels like that's it. But it's never it because in artistry, in that sense, you'll always be growing. We have to make a certain point financially, and I think um, it would be awesome to reach that goal eventually. Let's say just minimum of making a net of 3K a month in euros. That would be awesome, so you can pay all your bills. But you have to be very certain on the way you do your stuff, and you put it out, and you get returns from it
Mm-hmm.
financially. If you monetize your art, you'll have to be very secure in how to make it into a working, repeatable process.
Sustainable
Yes, and
system.
sustainable. Yes, of course. And
Mm-hmm.
if it's repeatable and it's good, but it also it's it's a different animal if you're not relying on it. If you have another job getting in the money from that side,
Mm-hmm.
the problem is it takes a lot of your time and a lot of your effort, and
Correct. Yeah.
it can tire you down. I have a job that's physically and mentally demanding that I could be pretty tired at the end of a shift, and I just push through it if I have something to complete, if I have projects to work on or something to put online.
Mm-hmm.
But it tires you out, and eventually it'll catch you.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be awesome just to do this all the time and go on the road. But yeah, there's always a catch to it.
Yeah.
Like, and if you try to monetize it for getting it, making it your full job,
Mm-hmm.
it might also become a burden because yeah,
True.
you have to do this, you have to do
True.
this, that, and the other, whatever it is. Um, yeah, and that might become a drag,
Mm-hmm.
and then it'll diminish the passion, and
True.
that's a pitfall. You
Yeah.
have to be wary of that.
Yeah.
It can work out. It can work out fine. We have to be very mindful of that pitfall and don't fall into it. And if you're getting too near to that pitfall, just try to steer it into a more healthy way because it's mental health just as well
Mm-hmm.
to keep that whole process going.
Mm-hmm.
Because I have my fans, and sometimes um, that becomes a pressure on itself as well. Like I have to put this stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, or sometimes if I can't manage to put more than one picture online because there's no time anymore, or we're having a good time afterwards, just drinking a beer and eating something, and it's already 10 o'clock, and
Mm-hmm.
the next morning we have to get up at 4 again, stuff like that
Yeah.
happens every now and then, and the multiple days trips. Then I'll just put one picture out. That's the most I can do, and then just say that. It's like, yeah, rest of them will follow suit. So keep in tune,
Yeah.
keep tuned in here, and but not now because I
Yeah.
can't manage.
I think in my opinion, I feel decoupling the money factor with passion is always a good deal, like
Hmm.
not coupling it together for creativity.
Yes.
Because when you couple them and you're completely depending on your art to support yourself, and also, of course, to support all the materials that are required to create that art,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
that becomes tricky for mental health as well.
Yeah. Because that's what I said. Actually, that's what I meant with like then it becomes a burden, and it
Yeah,
might diminish your passion
yeah,
because you have to do it.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
you can flip that around if you're mindful of that. Like even though you have to, you can punch through that pitfall, that barrier,
Yeah.
what it is. It's kind of like a gatekeeping kind of thing. There's
Mm-hmm.
no people keeping that gate, but it is a gate you need to push through.
Yeah.
And I think some people have done that successfully. And like I'm musically, I'm very much a fan of Armin van Buuren. With his
T-shirt
yes,
reference.
let's come back to that. Yeah, but I'm very interested in his documentaries and certain things where he talks about how his journey has become from doing a gig in his early days, where he also part of the gig was cleaning the toilets of
Yeah.
the club he played at, because that's in the 90s how things were. And now
Yeah.
he's playing world venues, and it's a growing process where um, he punched through that, and he also made a certain mold of how he does his things. He tries to have a certain stable thing that's repeatable to make his music work. Um,
Mhm.
you generate a lot of money, and the
Mhm.
stuff he really likes to do is play live and actual hard trance music, which is not nothing for general radio. He didn't
Mhm.
mix that as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just how you fit
Yeah.
something that's marketable and
Yeah.
monetizable into a working process, and that's something I hope to achieve in the future as well. But
I guess
I'm not there yet. But yeah.
from what I learned from your story today is stay humble, but also stay hungry.
Yes. Very good. Very good.
Humility, patience, and planning, and also this
Very important.
play, like playing like a child.
Yes.
Like that.
Yes.
That play is very important. Having
Don't
fun.
become too serious about
Yeah.
or like don't beat yourself down if something doesn't work out the way it does, and just try to make the most out of something. Yeah, be malleable as well.
Malleable.
Yes.
Yes, that's
Yes.
the word. Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much
Thank you so
for
much. Yes.
joining. Thank
Yes.
you so
It was an
much.
awesome first podcast for me
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah. Same here. And
Yeah, you can find all my work on
yeah.
bourbon09punk.com and on Facebook and Instagram
Yeah.
bourbon09.
I'm definitely going to use your images to teach my students, like
Cool.
a study.
Hmm.
There's so much to learn from them.
I feel
Definitely.
humbled about that.
Yeah.
You're
We are we
free to
are
do so.
we are waiting for your upcoming workshops
Who
and
knows that that's
field
a thing of
trips.
the future? Yes.
I would join. I'll be the first person to join if
Cool.
that happens.
Yeah.
And I'm really grateful that you agreed to do this.
Yeah.
And another thing
I'm
is,
very grateful to be the guest. Yeah.
yeah,
It's a nice experience also for me to put everything to words.
yeah, vocalizing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Great.
great.
Well, thanks.
All right. So we were talking about.
Yeah, before we can continue, because I had a little break for technical difficulties, I almost forgot. I got like a little gift for you
Oh,
because I know
wow!
you like baklava and chocolate.
Thank
Here's a
you.
great combination of that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks for having me as a guest.
um,
Least I could do.
hmm?
Least I could do.
Come on.